The AG Corners Live effect is part of the VectorScribe plugin from Astute Graphics. This effect is an incredible time saver. It allows designers to customize layouts, infographics, and even type with a variety of corner settings. And because it's an effect, it's easy to change and update across your document. Like other effects in Adobe Illustrator, you'll find it in the main menu under Effect, and then down in the Additional Effects section, at the very bottom, under VectorScribe, here's AG Corners. If you don't see it here, check your Astute Manager and ensure that you have VectorScribe installed. For this demonstration, I'll use the Appearance panel to apply the AG Corners effect. You can open the Appearance panel by going to the Window menu. First, I'll select all of the artwork, and you can see I have the edges hidden. I'm using the shortcut Command or Control H to hide the edges so I can see the artwork better. And with the art selected, I'll go to the Effects menu at the bottom of the Appearance panel, down to VectorScribe, and AG Corners. And in the dialog here, I can choose a corner type, either rounded, negative, or a chamfered corner. For this, I'll choose a rounded corner, and I'll set the radius to 4 points, just to make this a little more subtle. And in this menu, I can choose the method for rounding the corner. It can be true radius, standard, or squircular. And for this, I'll choose true radius. And now I'll click OK. And now my artwork has a consistent rounded corner applied throughout. Now I want to make some adjustments and add a little more variety here. So I'll deselect, and then I'll go to these 3 black rectangles in the upper right corner. And here I want to change the AG Corners effect. So I'll click on it in the Appearance panel, and in the dialog box here, I'm going to change this to a chamfered corner. And I'll change the radius to 8 points. And this is something you can't do with the Illustrator native effect because it only allows for rounded corners. Now I'll click OK. And I like this variety, and I want to do just a little more customization. So I'm going to select some things that I want to remove the rounded corners from, selecting these knobs and this dial here, and a few other objects around the edges of the art. And then in the Appearance panel, I'll highlight the AG Corners effect, and I'll tap on the trash icon to remove it from these objects. So now there's a nice variety of rounded, chamfered, and regular corners in this illustration, and that took practically no time at all. Now when I go back and select all my art, and I look in the Appearance panel, I only see the words Mixed Appearances. And that's because I'm using different settings in some of those corner effects. They're rounded and chamfered corners, so I can't see where the AG Corners effect is applied just by looking here in the Appearance panel. For this, I'm going to go up to the Effect menu and all the way down to the bottom to open up the Astute Graphics Live Effect Explorer. And this is a dialog that helps you work with your effects, and there's a separate Astute Graphics video that goes into more depth about this. But for now, I can highlight the AG Corners effect and then click on the magnifying glass to highlight where the effect is applied. I can also hide the effect to see the original version of the art, and then I can show the effect. And if you ever need to remove an effect like AG Corners, there's no faster way to do it. Just tap this Remove button, and then before I exit, I want to tap Reset to get that effect back. And now I'll click OK. Now I want to apply the chamfered corner elsewhere in my art, so I'm going to make a graphic style for it. And I'll do this by drawing a rectangle here off to the side. I'll use my eyedropper tool and sample that effect from my artwork. And as we can see in the Appearance panel, the AG Corners effect is now applied to this rectangle. But I'm going to create something called an additive graphic style, which is basically a style that allows you to add something on top of another appearance. So to do this, I need to remove any other appearance attributes from this rectangle. So I'm going to set the fill to none, and then the stroke is already set to none. And so although this rectangle looks invisible, it still has that AG Corners effect applied to it. And now when I go over to the Graphic Styles panel, I'll just click on the plus button. This creates a new graphic style, and you can see that none slash in the thumbnail. So I definitely want to name this. And I'll call it 8-point chamfered AG corners, and hit return. And now I can delete this rectangle. Next, I'll go to the upper left corner of my art and select some shapes here. And then I've got one down in the lower left corner, and I want the border around the type to have the chamfered corner as well. So now I'm going to apply this style by going to the Graphic Styles panel, and this is important. You need to hold on the Option or Alt key as you click the style thumbnail in order to add that chamfered corner effect without overwriting the existing appearance that you already have for these objects. So Option Alt adds on to the appearance. That's another major time saver, and this is looking great. Now let's zoom in on the type, because AG Corners works really well on live type. And there's another setting here I want to show you. I'll go to the Appearance panel, and I can see the AG Corners effect here. But quickly, I'm just going to turn this off for now, and I want to show you what happens if I add the native Illustrator Round Corners effect. So I'll choose Stylize and Round Corners, and there aren't many options here, but I'll just add 3 points of rounding and click OK. And you can see it's not working very well on this type. I'll go back to the Appearance panel and turn off the visibility for the Round Corners effect. And let's go back to the AG Corners effect. Now this looks pretty good, but we can do more here. So I'm going to open up the AG Corners dialog, and here I want that radius to be 3 points, so it's just a little bit less round. And I don't like the way the counters on these A's are looking, so I'm going to go to this setting, Inside Corners, and I'll choose Specified Below, and just add 1 point of rounding here, just to the inside corners of these letters. And now we can see that's much better suited to this type. And then I'll click OK. The separate settings for inside and outside corners can be used on closed shapes, and they're perfect for shapes like this star, which is looking a little too rounded. I'll apply a squircular corner to the outside points of the star, which makes them slightly more pointy, and then I'll set the radius to 1 point. That's more subtle. And then for the inside corners, I'm going to set this radius at 3 points. And we can even get creative and try out the other corner types. And I like the chamfered corner, so I'll click OK. The adjustability of the AG Corners Live effect makes it perfect for working with type or for adding variety to your artwork, because the settings are so easy to customize. And when you save the settings in a graphic style, you gain efficiency and consistency across your document. There's nothing like it in Illustrator. So enjoy the AG Corners Live effect. It's part of the VectorScribe plugin by Astute Graphics. It's a great time saver for adding style to your artwork in Adobe Illustrator.